Sometimes we have to face our problems alone. There are times when the people around us want to help us, but they don't understand how strong the struggles within us truly are. These struggles are invisible to others, but to us, they feel very big and powerful. In such moments, it's important that we learn to discover our own strength. We must look within ourselves and trust that we are strong enough to persevere. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Roman emperors and a prominent Stoic thinker, also had such inner struggles. No one could resolve these struggles for him. In his diary, now called Meditations, he wrote down many important thoughts to keep his mind calm and strong, even amidst the problems and challenges of his empire. These thoughts helped him encourage himself and remember what truly mattered on his path. Every line in Meditations was a sign of his inner strength and a reminder that the answers to his worries could be found within himself. In this video, I've collected 15 of these valuable thoughts. They show how Marcus Aurelius thought and how he dealt with difficulties. These lessons have inspired thousands of people over the years. I hope you too find new strength and clarity for your own path through them. If you like this, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and activate notifications to discover more ideas that can change your perspective on life. 1. The power to believe in yourself. The opinions of others about our lives can become an overwhelming shadow that prevents us from showing our true light. We often forget that our strength comes from within, from our values, beliefs, and the clarity of our intentions. But when we allow ourselves to be guided by the fear of criticism or rejection, we no longer act freely, but as prisoners of the expectations of others. The Stoics, masters of inner independence, teach us that the true measure of our lives does not come from outside. It is inner alignment with our own principles that brings us true peace. Marcus Aurelius warned that we should not seek the approval of others, for it is like smoke, fleeting, intangible, and often without substance. When we try to please everyone, we lose ourselves. Our decisions should not depend on the whim of those around us, but on the clarity of our hearts and minds. This inner alignment is the key to a life based on stability and self-respect. Instead of living our lives based on what others think, we should ask ourselves, am I acting in accordance with what I have recognized as good and right? Stoic philosophy sees this need for validation as a source of constant discontent. The opinions of others change as easily as the wind, and if we become dependent on them, our inner balance is constantly disturbed. True freedom, on the other hand, means remaining true to one's own principles, regardless of praise or blame. A Stoic person recognizes that not every decision needs to be defended or explained. If we act in accordance with our values, that is enough. Our calm and peace are the best proof of the correctness of our path. To put this into practice, we could make a small but powerful resolution. Over the next few days, notice where you're trying to please others instead of staying true to your own beliefs. As you do this, continually ask yourself, am I living my values or am I seeking approval? This self-reflection will gradually strengthen you and show you that true contentment doesn't come from external sources, but from the alignment between your inner compass and your actions. The goal isn't to ignore or disregard others, but to put their opinions into perspective, as one of many perspectives, not the ultimate truth. By freeing yourself from the burden of trying to please everyone, you create space for authenticity. You'll not only feel your mind lighten, but also your relationships become more honest and meaningful. This is how you achieve what the Stoics describe as true freedom, the ability to live your life according to the principles you believe to be right, regardless of the fleeting voices around you. 2. Don't isolate yourself from the world. Imagine we are all on a large ship sailing through the waves of life. Each of us holds an oar, steering the boat and helping to maintain its course. Sometimes there are storms and life gets difficult, but together we can overcome anything. Stoicism teaches us that we live as part of a community, and that the well-being of the community often matters more than our own. By supporting one another, the journey becomes not only easier, but also safer. But sometimes we encounter obstacles, such as the thoughtless words or actions of others. In these moments, it is easy to become angry or disappointed, but the Stoics tell us not to let such feelings steer us. It is not about suppressing anger, but about taking control of our reactions and continuing to do what is right, like a ship rowing persistently towards safe harbor. The people around us are like fellow travelers on this journey. They are imperfect, just like us. Sometimes they make mistakes or lose their way. The Stoic knows that no one is without flaws. We all fail from time to time. But instead of holding grudges or dwelling on the mistakes of others, Stoic philosophy reminds us that life is too short to carry such burdens. Resentment is like a stone we load into our boat, leading us further and further from our destination. True strength lies in accepting the mistakes of others and not dwelling on them. By acknowledging their imperfection, we can take life lighter and open our hearts to what truly matters, our own journey and the good we can leave in the world. In this way, the journey through life becomes not only easier but also more fulfilling. What others do or say only has the power to hurt us if we allow it. The Stoics teach us that our thoughts and reactions are the only things we can truly control. You always have a choice about how you respond to others, how you protect yourself, and what feelings you want to nurture in your heart. One way to live in harmony with others is to look for the good in people. Everyone carries something unique within them, a light that sometimes just needs a little encouragement to shine. Maybe it's a smile that brightens the day, a small act of generosity, or an ability to connect with others in simple yet profound conversations. By seeing and appreciating the positive qualities in others, we shift our perspective. Not only do we begin to better understand the people around us, but we are also inspired to be better versions of ourselves. At the end of the day, we're all part of a greater whole, and we share a responsibility to row to the same beat. Every small act of kindness, every word of understanding, strengthens the bond that connects us all. Stoicism shows us that it's not just about ourselves, but about how our behavior can make life a little better for everyone else. When each of us does our part, the boat of life becomes not only more stable, but also more meaningful. 3. Your perception makes the difference. Imagine your mind has the ability to refract light like a prism, transforming every negative thought into something useful or positive. For the Stoics, this very mental tool, the ability to shift perspective, is one of their most powerful practices. It's not about denying reality or hiding from challenges, but about shaping our response to life in a way that maintains our inner peace and clarity. It's like an inner lens that allows us to see life not through the darkness of anger or frustration, but through the light of wisdom and calm. Consider a seemingly unpleasant moment, like a rainy day. Without conscious reflection, it might seem like an obstacle, the chaos on the streets, the damp clothes, the wait for the bus. But viewed through a Stoic lens, another truth reveals itself. Rain is a part of life, a gift that nourishes nature and reminds us that we live in a world of change. Gratitude for the opportunity to feel the rain or have a roof over our heads shifts our attention from anger to appreciation. The external circumstances remain unchanged, but by shifting our perception, the day transforms into a lesson in adaptation and acceptance. This principle of reinterpretation shows that our happiness does not depend on events, but on the story we tell ourselves about them. The Stoics taught us that we cannot control everything that happens, but we always have control over how we respond to it. A problem that we view with wisdom and calm loses its destructive power. Instead, it becomes an opportunity to develop our resilience and inner strengths. This practice requires practice and a willingness to think consciously, but it gives us the ability to actively shape our lives rather than simply reacting to external influences. Marcus Aurelius summed it up perfectly when he said, "Your mind is shaped by the color of your thoughts. Every thought we allow to enter our lives paints our inner world a certain tone. Do we choose a color of frustration or acceptance? Do we allow the light of wisdom to shine through, or do we obscure ourselves with unnecessary worry? By learning to be mindful of our thoughts, we transform our lives into a work of art, shaped not by external circumstances, but by the strength and clarity of our minds. Start today by observing your thoughts. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? And how can I frame this story with more wisdom and serenity? Every moment you consciously choose how you think about a situation is a step toward a free and fulfilling life. Stoic philosophy reminds us that the key to our happiness lies not outside of us, but in the way we view the world. 4. Diversity is part of life. The universe follows its own laws, regardless of our wishes or plans. It moves at a pace that neither celebrates our successes nor regrets our setbacks. For the Stoics, there is a profound lesson in this indifference. Life will not give us special treatment, neither favored nor disadvantaged. Our difficulties are part of being human, not a punishment or an exception. This understanding can be relieving, for it reminds us that no one lives a life free of challenges. Pain, loss, and adversity are as much a part of it as joy and success. Accepting that these things are inevitable is embracing life to its fullest. The Stoics saw life's ups and downs as inevitable, but not as a cause for despair. Rather, they taught that true strength lies not in avoiding difficulties, but in facing them with courage and wisdom. When we accept that we cannot control the outside, we instead turn our energy inward. There lies the power we truly possess, the ability to choose how we respond to what happens to us. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that our true strength comes not from living a life without pain, but from the ability to transform pain into something productive, into growth, understanding, or serenity. This Stoic concept of resilience is not an innate gift, but a choice we can make every day. Resilience doesn't mean ignoring pain or setbacks, but rather transforming them into a teacher. Every moment of suffering gives us the opportunity to become stronger within. Marcus Aurelius's words, "The obstacle is the path," are an invitation to see the challenge itself as the key to our development. Instead of shying away from difficulties, we should view them as touchstones of our character. This Stoic perspective transforms pain into a path to empowerment. It helps us not only stand firm, but also transcend ourselves. With every obstacle we overcome, our minds become clearer, our hearts calmer, and our inner foundation stronger. Resilience then becomes a safe place, an inner home that protects us from life's storms. And the best part is, this strength cannot be taken away from us, because it belongs to us. It is what makes us human and truly alive. Consider the next challenge you face as an invitation to walk this path of resilience. Ask yourself not, "Why is this happening to me?" but "How can I grow from it?" Every experience, no matter how painful, carries within it the potential to make you stronger, wiser, and more peaceful. This is the essence of the Stoic life, not the absence of pain, but the art of transforming it into strength and clarity. 5. Lack of intention is waste. A shopping cart without a list is a powerful image for a life without a clear purpose. Without a goal or direction, we accumulate things, thoughts, and obligations that often have little meaning, while the essentials, that which truly strengthens and moves us forward, go unnoticed. The Stoics reminded us that a purposeful life shouldn't be left to chance. Clear principles and a deep sense of purpose are like a shopping list. They help us set priorities and make decisions that enrich our lives. A consciously chosen life is comparable to a nourishing meal. It gives us the energy and clarity we need to fulfill our tasks with integrity. Acting without intention, on the other hand, leads to a state of inner chaos. When we don't know why we're doing something or what we truly want to achieve, we feel like a boat without a rudder, tossed and turned by life's waves. Stoic philosophy encourages us to always align our actions with our higher purpose, the realization of a virtuous life. This means making every decision carefully so that it becomes part of a larger picture, characterized by wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. A messy table is a fitting metaphor for an uncared-for mind. When thoughts pile up without us pausing to examine them, confusion, doubt, and inner stress arise. The Stoics taught that we should regularly clean up, take a mental inventory to identify which thoughts are useful and which we can let go of. By asking ourselves questions like, "What am I thinking right now?" or "What kind of person do I want to be?" we gain clarity about our values and can better align our actions with them. This practice of self-examination is a central component of Stoic philosophy. It reminds us that true serenity comes from within. The Stoic sage strives to manage his mind like a well-ordered space, free of unnecessary baggage and open to what is essential. This means not allowing external circumstances to take control, but maintaining our inner balance, no matter what is happening around us. With an organized mind and clear goals, life becomes a conscious journey in which we don't just react, but actively shape it. We recognize that every obstacle is an opportunity to strengthen our virtue, and that every day offers a chance to live our inner values. Thus, life no longer becomes an uncontrolled shopping cart or an overflowing desk, but a path full of meaning, clarity, and serenity. 6. Learn to react. Imagine you're walking along a path and suddenly stones start flying in your direction. These stones represent the rudeness, criticism, and hostile remarks we encounter in everyday life. They can hurt us if we allow them to, or they can be ineffective if we learn to respond with wisdom and calm. Stoicism teaches us that we are not obligated to pick up these stones or even throw them back. Instead, we can choose to examine them with a clear mind and evaluate whether they are worthy of our attention or energy. When criticism is justified, we should receive it with humility. It's an opportunity for self-reflection, a mirror that shows us aspects we may have overlooked. Stoics emphasize that true learning comes from filtering out the usefulness of criticism without seeing it as an attack on our worth. This attitude enables growth and strengthens our character. Instead of reacting with hurt or defensiveness, we can use criticism as a tool to improve ourselves while maintaining our inner peace. But what about unjustified criticism? Here, too, Stoicism offers us clear advice. Such words often reflect more about the person uttering them than about ourselves. In these moments, we can use empathy as a protective shield. This doesn't mean ignoring the harshness or injustice, but rather recognizing that it doesn't have to upset our inner balance. Imagine the harsh words are like clouds passing by in the sky. You see them, but they don't touch you. By not responding to insults, you maintain your composure and strengthen your self-control. When it's your turn to correct someone, remember to do so respectfully. The Stoics encourage us to treat others as we would like to be treated, with kindness and a genuine desire to help, rather than feeling superior. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that kindness is the best antidote to malice. When we respond to wrongdoing with compassion and calm, we create an atmosphere where understanding can grow. And even if the other person isn't ready to accept our words, it's within our power to uphold virtue and focus our energies on what matters most. Some people may be surprised by your calm response, others may continue their attack. But what really matters is that you remain true to yourself. Your attitude of not acting like your attacker shows true greatness. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy, wrote Marcus Aurelius. This Stoic approach reminds us that our integrity and kindness are the most powerful weapons against injustice. By following your character, you overcome negativity and maintain your peace, a sign of true strength and wisdom. 7. Choose to do the right thing. Imagine you're in a classroom, surrounded by your classmates who are all cheating on the test. The easier path seems right in front of you, and for a moment you consider bowing to the pressure like everyone else is. But deep down, you know that's not the right path. You have clear values, and you're determined to stay true to them. You choose to give your own answers without cheating, even when it's difficult. It might seem like a disadvantage at first, but the true victory lies in that moment when you stood up for what's right. Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies not in choosing the easier path, but in the ability to do what our inner compass tells us is right, regardless of what others are doing. Stoic philosophy reminds us that true integrity does not depend on external circumstances. When you choose to follow the truth and do what is right, even when it is uncomfortable or difficult, it is not just a moral choice, but a form of self-respect. Stoics like Epictetus emphasize that we cannot control the behavior of others, but we can always choose how we respond to the world. Peer pressure in such moments is like a strong storm, pulling us in all directions. But true strength is not shown by following the current, but by how we stand firm, like a lighthouse in the darkness, shining even when everything around us is stormy. Your decision to act honestly is the moment you create your own inner peace, independent of the world around you. When you do the right thing, you don't do it to receive recognition or praise. The Stoic doesn't do good because they expect something in return, but because it aligns with their principles. When you act with kindness and honesty, you have already received the greatest reward there is, the feeling of satisfaction that you are acting in accordance with your values. This satisfaction is a gift that no one can take away. It's not about what others see or acknowledge, but about the feeling that you are following your own path no matter how the rest of the world behaves. The world may not always support or understand you, but the Stoic knows that true reward does not depend on outward applause. It comes from the inner peace that comes from knowing you have done the right thing. The most important thing is to stay true to your inner compass, no matter how much the world around you pushes you in a different direction. The Stoic is not influenced by the expectations or opinions of others, but remains steadfast in their principles. You don't need to seek the approval of others to know you're doing the right thing. The true reward is the peace that comes from integrity. Every right decision you make strengthens your character and makes you a better version of yourself. And that is the true victory the Stoic strives for. A life in harmony with one's own values, characterized by inner peace and contentment, regardless of external circumstances. 8. Be independent. Being firm and independent in life is like building a stable foundation that sustains us even in the fiercest storms. Imagine you are a tree with deep roots that can weather the strongest winds. Independence means taking responsibility for your life without waiting for someone else to carry your burdens or make decisions for you. It's as if you are planting your own footsteps firmly in the ground, ready to face any challenge life throws at you. Just as a tree holds onto the earth with its roots, your inner strength sustains you during difficult times. This attitude of not shying away from difficulties but facing them courageously is one of the most important teachings of Stoicism. It's a promise to yourself not to let external circumstances influence your resolve and to take responsibility for your life. Stoicism teaches us that we should not see fear as an obstacle, but as something temporary that should not prevent us from doing the right thing. Fear is like a shadow that looms over our minds, but we don't have to live in its darkness. Instead of being paralyzed by the possibility of failure, we should focus on what we can do in this moment. The Stoic trusts in his ability to make the right decisions, regardless of the uncertainty that surrounds him. You can imagine your inner compass always pointing toward the values you want to live by: justice, courage, honesty. These values help you find the right path, even when the easy way is tempting. It is this inner compass that guides you when external circumstances are challenging and requires courage to choose the path of integrity, even when the price seems high. When your actions align with your true beliefs, you act with integrity and build a life you can wear proudly. This inner strength isn't always visible. It's demonstrated by your ability to remain calm and determined, even in difficult moments. It's like an inner peace you create for yourself, knowing your decisions come from the principles you believe are right, not what the world around you expects of you. Being independent doesn't mean always being perfect or never failing. Rather, it means being true to yourself every step of the way. This honesty with yourself is the true sign of strength and freedom. It's proof that you're not controlled by moments of comfort or recognition, but that you're living a life firmly grounded in your own principles. That is true independence, strong and free, based on an inner strength that guides you to a life well lived. 9. Don't complain, just act. No matter how difficult a situation, consciously refraining from complaining is a key to developing a stronger and more resilient mind. Stoicism reminds us that our influence over external circumstances is often limited, but our response to them is entirely within our control. Complaining binds us to the problem. It's like standing in a storm and complaining instead of seeking shelter. Instead, Stoic philosophy encourages us to use our energy for something useful, for actions that bring solutions, and for the inner work that allows us to grow. Imagine you're faced with a seemingly insurmountable task. Your first impulse might be to complain about the difficulty, but what good does that do? Complaining is like an obstacle you've placed in your own path. It clouds your clarity and robs you of the strength you need to solve it. When you replace complaining with determination, you open the door to a completely different perspective. You no longer focus on why things are difficult, but rather on how you can overcome those difficulties. This way, every challenge becomes an opportunity to build resilience. Even if a task seems too big to handle alone, complaining is not a solution. Instead, seeking help demonstrates wisdom and strength. Stoicism teaches us that accepting support is not a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it shows courage to recognize our limitations and strive for solutions. But even in these moments of asking, we should be careful not to lose ourselves in complaints. A Stoic attitude means asking for help with dignity, without dramatizing the circumstances or showing self-pity. This helps us maintain our inner calm and our ability to act. True strength, according to the Stoics, comes not from passively enduring pain, but from the ability to act with calmness and focus. It's about seeing the situation clearly, without being overwhelmed by our emotions, and taking the next meaningful step. This attitude isn't an innate ability, but a daily practice. Every renunciation of complaint, every moment of calm, purposeful action, trains our mind and strengthens our resilience. The next time you face a challenge, remember, complaining holds you back, but action sets you free. The Stoic practice of responding with courage and calm in difficult moments not only makes us more resilient, but also changes how we perceive life. We realize that the power to improve any situation doesn't lie outside of us. It begins within our minds. By taking action rather than complaining, we create the foundation for inner peace and true strength. 10. Your spirit is stronger. Imagine your mind like a lamp that finds its way even in the darkest nights. This lamp is strong and tireless, regardless of the storms raging around it. Your mind is your most valuable tool, more powerful than the strength of your body and more stable than the waves of your emotions. For the Stoics, this mind, your ability to think and decide, is the core of what makes you human. It is what distinguishes between impulse and reason, what allows you to act consciously, not just react. But this inner strength faces challenges. Fatigue, emotions, or complacency often try to weaken it. Think about the moment you decide to wake up early to pursue an important goal. Your intention is clear, but the inertia of your body or the pull of a warm bed challenges you. This is where the Stoic exercise comes in. Ask yourself if you want to allow your emotions to take control of your life. If you give in, you leave your fate at the mercy of outside influences. But if you strengthen your spirit and choose to do what is right, even when it is difficult, you achieve true freedom. The Stoics believed that forgoing simple, short-term pleasures in favor of long-term virtue is the path to a fulfilling life. This control over your mind is not a compulsion, but a liberation. It allows you to no longer be driven by chance or whim, but to consciously shape your path. When you guide your mind consistently, you steer your life in harmony with your inner values. And soon you will notice a change in your inner state. Clarity replaces doubt, energy overcomes inertia. It is as if a long gray morning is suddenly broken by the sun. This inner discipline, which begins small, grows and unfolds into a strength that shapes your entire life. But a major challenge on this path is fear. The Stoics described it as an invisible enemy that paralyzes you without you even noticing. It whispers doubts into your mind, keeps you from making important decisions, and causes you to choose security over growth. But fear is not invincible. The Stoics saw its antidote in reason and action. By analyzing fear, looking it in the eye and recognizing that it is often more illusion than reality, you begin to break its power. This conscious training of your mind is a journey that requires courage and perseverance. But every small decision you make in harmony with reason brings you closer to a life not controlled by emotions or external circumstances. The lamp of your mind becomes brighter the more you use it to dispel the darkness. And the best part, this inner strength isn't dependent on external factors. It belongs to you alone, a light that can guide you even in the most difficult moments. 11. See things as they really are. Advertising, the art of seduction, often paints us images that bear little relation to reality. A smartphone is promoted not just as a tool, but as a symbol of prestige, innovation, and belonging. A simple car becomes a promise of freedom, adventure, or even status. But behind these shiny facades lies the sober truth. They are merely objects composed of materials that define neither our essence nor our happiness. Stoic philosophy exhorts us to look beyond these illusions and reduce things to their essentials. Only then can we free ourselves from superficial pursuits and manipulation. Marcus Aurelius was a master of this perspective. For him, wine was nothing more than fermented grape juice, and an emperor's purple robes were merely dyed fabrics. This reduction to the essentials helped him free himself from false meanings and empty symbols. He realized that no external glamour or title determines a person's true worth. This clarity is a tool that prevents us from seeking our happiness in things or in the recognition of others. It allows us to view the world with open eyes and not chase that which has no lasting value. The same is true of the opinions of others. We are often dazzled by praise or hurt by criticism, as if it were the determinant of our worth. But what is praise but fleeting words, born of the whims and preferences of others? And criticism? It usually reflects the critic's perspective rather than an absolute truth. The Stoics encourage us to examine these judgments with a sense of distance and ask ourselves, does this really matter? Does it make me less or more of the person I am? When we master this exercise of clarity, we become less dependent on outside influence. The Stoic method of seeing things as they are frees us from illusions and directs our focus to what truly matters. By questioning the artificial meanings imposed on us, we gain clarity about our values and goals. It becomes clear that true freedom lies not in owning more or receiving more recognition, but in being in harmony with oneself and reality. This clarity protects us from the constant dissatisfaction that arises when we seek our worth in the eyes of others or in the superficial promises of things. It gives us the strength to act consciously and independently without being driven by external opinions or false ideals. In this way, we lead a life characterized not by external illusions, but by inner truth and constancy. 12. Have self-respect. Imagine that every decision you make is like a brick you place in the construction of your character. Every day you build the foundation of who you are and who you will become. In Stoic philosophy, we learn that our choices are more than just short-term actions. They are building blocks for our lives. Every moment is an opportunity to demonstrate who we truly are and what we value. So before you act, ask yourself, will this be something I'll be proud of in the future? Am I being true to what I believe? These questions are like an inner compass that helps us live in alignment with our values. It's easy to make decisions out of convenience or the urge to please others, but true courage lies in doing what aligns with our principles, even when it's more difficult. The Stoic path requires determination. The temptation to choose the easier or more popular path is always there, especially when external pressure is strong. But Stoic wisdom teaches us that there is no success worth sacrificing our principles or losing peace of conscience. True strength is not demonstrated by loud gestures or the attempt to gain power over others. It lies in the ability to control our emotions, to remain calm and kind, even in difficult moments. Fortitude means taking responsibility for our behavior, mastering our temper, and not allowing external circumstances or the reactions of others to dictate our actions. A Stoic remains calm amidst chaos and finds balance even when the storm rages. This is true inner strength, a strength that cannot be shaken because it comes from the depths of character. Your values are like stars in the sky that always guide you, even in dark times. They are constant, even when the world around you changes. When you follow them, you stay in tune with yourself, even if that means making sacrifices. Stoic philosophy reminds us that self-respect comes not from the opinions of others, but from confidence in your own principles. It develops when we make choices every day that strengthen our inner foundation. Every time you choose honesty, when you are kind, when you act with integrity, you add another stable brick to the structure of your character. Over time, this foundation becomes so strong that it gives you inner peace and protects you from external storms. Your values are what sustain you when everything else falters. Decide today that your self-respect is the most valuable asset you possess. Write self-respect in the comments to make this promise to yourself. You will live in accordance with your principles, without regrets and without the pressure to bend. True freedom comes when you live in complete harmony with yourself. You will find that this inner peace brings a calm that nothing can shake. You will be proud of the person you have become, strong, upright, and true. And that is the greatest gift you can give yourself, a life you can live with pride and without regret. 13. Life is short. Imagine life like an upside-down hourglass. With every grain of sand that slips through the narrow neck, a moment passes, never to return. The Stoics remind us that this impermanence should not be a source of fear, but an impetus to live more consciously. Time passes inexorably, and death is an inescapable truth, not to paralyze us, but to rouse us. There is immense power in this realization. The best moment to act is always now. There is no guaranteed tomorrow, no time for endless waiting. The Stoics teach that we should consider time our most precious treasure and base our decisions on virtues: justice, honesty, courage, and self-discipline. These principles are like a compass to guide us through life's uncertainties. Think about how many times you've postponed dreams or missed opportunities. How many times have you told yourself that later would be a better time? But Stoicism exposes this later as an illusion. There is no better time than now, and every further delay is a loss. Procrastination often stems from fear of the unknown or a desire to stay in our comfort zone. But that comfort zone keeps us stuck and prevents growth. The Stoics urge us to free ourselves from seeking the approval of others and instead focus on the present action. The right moment won't come, it's already here. A fulfilling life emerges when we let go of the illusion of eternal time. We suffer not because we lack something, but because we hold ourselves back through inaction. When we keep pushing our dreams further into the future, we accumulate expectations without ever finding true fulfillment. The way to break this cycle lies in the decision to live consciously and courageously. Imagine that everything you have experienced so far is behind you. What if, starting today, you could dare to make a fresh start? This thought is not a figment of your imagination. It is a real possibility. The time you have belongs to you. Why not start today by using it intentionally? It's never too late to begin again. The Stoics taught that true growth lies in appreciating the journey, regardless of the outcome. Even if our dreams don't materialize exactly as we imagined, we can still find the freedom that lies within ourselves. We can cultivate humility, serve others, and strengthen our inner principles, and therein lies the true value of life. The Stoic path is not a competition for perfection, but a pursuit of virtue that brings us inner peace. This moment, here and now, is your gift. Use it to live more consciously, freely, and with more determination. It's a journey that not only brings you closer to your goals, but also teaches you to recognize the beauty in the here and now. The Stoics remind us, it's not how long the path is that counts, but that we walk it with sincerity and courage. 14. Express yourself. Imagine that gratitude is like a gentle light that shines even on the gloomiest days in your life, helping you recognize the true value of every experience. In the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, we find that this light is a powerful tool that transforms the way we see the world. He shows us that gratitude isn't just for the big, happy moments, but for everything life brings us, for the good times and the difficult, for everything that helps us grow. At the beginning of his book, Marcus Aurelius deliberately takes the time to show gratitude, not just for the positive experiences, but also for the challenges that have made him the person he is. He recalls the lessons of his youth, what he learned from others, and the values that have helped him become a better person, controlling one's temper, the importance of generosity, and maintaining a positive attitude, even in difficult moments. This gratitude goes beyond words. It is an attitude that helps us see life from a deeper perspective. Gratitude isn't just the feeling of being thankful for the good things in our lives. It's an active attitude that Marcus Aurelius sees as a tool for cultivating our character and relationships. He recommends avoiding gossip and unnecessary arguments and instead focusing on communicating clearly and directly. Stoicism isn't about simply doing what's pleasant in every situation, but also about maintaining control over our reactions in difficult moments. Marcus Aurelius urges us to treat each other with respect, seek peaceful solutions, and respect the freedom of others. This form of gratitude involves focusing our energy on what truly matters, on friendship, on genuine conversations, on playing with children, and on giving advice when needed. It's gratitude for the simple things in life that lead to a fulfilling and peaceful existence. A central aspect of Marcus Aurelius's gratitude is that it consists not in fine words, but in deeds of kindness and in treating others with respect. The Stoics taught that true greatness lies in self-control, and Marcus Aurelius reminds us that true gratitude lies in our actions, in how we treat others, and how we conduct ourselves in difficult situations. He encourages us to avoid unnecessary criticism and to treat everyone with respect, regardless of their position or behavior. Gratitude is an invitation to look at life with a kinder eye, to appreciate all experiences, and to learn something from every encounter. Marcus Aurelius shows us that gratitude not only helps us find peace with the good things in our lives, but also teaches us to appreciate the challenges and the people who accompany us along the way. When you practice gratitude, as Marcus Aurelius describes it, your life will be filled with new depth. You'll learn to appreciate every small interaction, give meaning to every generous gesture, and practice patience in difficult conversations. It's a constant process in which you see the world around you, not just as something that serves you, but as something that helps you grow. Gratitude will become a constant companion, supporting you in your pursuit of a good, fulfilling life. And with every step you take, you'll recognize the deeper meaning and value of everything you experience. 15. Practice getting back on track. We've all made mistakes. It's a part of life, and no one is immune. But for the Stoics, what matters isn't being perfect, but how well you bounce back after a mistake. A mistake is just a minor setback. What really matters is the willingness to keep going and to correct your path with determination. The faster you get back on track, the stronger you become. This strength comes from within, from the regular practice of starting over again and again. Every mistake isn't an end, but an opportunity to improve along the way. Big changes take time, and it's normal to fall back or stumble sometimes. It's important to face each mistake with courage, see where you can improve, and keep going. If an inner voice tells you to give up just because you made a mistake, choose to ignore that voice. The Stoics remind us that one bad day doesn't have to set us back, and one difficult week doesn't dictate our entire year, let alone our entire lives. Every small step, no matter how imperfect, is a step forward. Appreciating that progress will make you stronger and keep you focused on your goals, even if progress is slow. And don't forget, in all of this, not to give in to pride or the desire for approval from others. The desire to be admired can distract you from what's truly important, your own growth. True strength comes from being confident and strong, even without applause. If you can empower yourself and keep fighting even when no one is watching, then you're on the right path and making progress toward integrity and personal development. If you've read this far, you're already on the journey. Remember that every day is an opportunity to improve, leave yesterday behind, and create a better tomorrow. Comment "on the journey" and remind yourself that the most important thing is to keep moving forward, one step at a time.